The Rift S versus the Oculus Quest 2. So when the Rift S first came out, I didn't buy this straight away because there were reports of a lot of issues, black screens and all this sort of stuff. So I didn't buy it straight away. I waited a few months and then I bought it, thinking, well, the issues have probably been sorted out. Turns out they hadn't. I had issues with black screens and different tracking issues with controllers and things like that, which I've now rectified. I don't have those issues anymore. I don't know if that was a combination of software issues or the way I've now wired it up on my computer here, but I just don't have those issues anymore. Apparently some people still do, so keep that in mind. Now that we've done a disclaimer on the Rift S, let's also now do a disclaimer on this. Now the Quest 2 I pre-ordered pretty much straight up. I didn't know if there was going to be any issues because I pre-ordered it. Turns out there had. Other than the mandatory Facebook account that everybody wasn't happy with, if you ordered the Elite strap, which I do have here, there's many reports of these breaking. On top of that, the lenses you tend to get with the Quest 2 tend to be different from batch to batch. Some people have better visual quality than others, some people have more God rays than others, and all this other stuff. So, you know, neither headset is perfect. And I know I'm starting off on the bad side here, but I just wanted to get that stuff out of the way first. Neither headset is perfect, but with the Oculus devices, they are at a cheaper price point than, let's say, a Valve Index. These are made to a budget, and I'm guessing that's why you're looking at an Oculus, because they're a little bit more budget friendly, good entry-level VR equipment. So anyway, let's start off with something easy. Comfort. It's a little complicated, and I'll tell you why. So this is pretty much out of the box how it comes. However, with the Oculus Quest 2 here, you do have to pay additional for this Elite strap, which in my opinion is mandatory. There is an elastic strap that this comes with, and I personally found it very, very, very uncomfortable. I found I couldn't get my eyes in the sweet spot of the lenses correctly. I wasn't a big fan of the elastic strap. Some people say they're okay with it, but I'm just not. Don't get me wrong, the elastic strap has its place, especially for portability. It's obviously smaller. You don't have this big bricky thing on the back here. It's just an elastic strap like this all the way around, so it easily folds up into a nice little package if you wanted to take it to a friend's house and things like that, but it doesn't do much for comfort. And then, as I was saying before, the Elite strap does have its issues as well, and they have had reports of breaking. Whether that's been fixed now, I'm not sure. This is from the batch after they looked into the reports of breaking. I haven't had this break yet, so I don't know. It might be fixed when you're watching this. So in terms of this with the elastic strap versus the Rift S comfortability, the Rift S will win definitely. In terms of the comfort with the Elite strap and this out of the box, for me, but I still think the Rift S feels more comfortable on my head. Right, second up, probably one of the first things you'll notice other than comfort is visual quality. Now, visual quality between the Quest 2 and the Rift can be a little bit complicated. There's a lot of things that go into visual quality. There's the resolution of the display, there's the type of display, there's the screen door effect of the display, There's the refresh rate of the display, and there's also what's powering the display. Now the Rift S is entirely powered via your gaming PC, so the graphics will depend on that a little bit. Obviously it has to meet the minimum specs. Check that out on Oculus's website. It's plugged in via a DisplayPort cable and a USB, so make sure you have that on your PC. Whereas the Quest, you can use it standalone, or you can connect it to the PC via a Oculus Link cable. Now this is USB-C to USB-C. You can get USB-C to USB-A, not officially, but aftermarket cables you can. In fact, I have one right here too that goes from the USB-C end to the USB-A end. I do have a video comparing those cables. Go check that out on my channel if you're wondering about that later. So the visual quality will change depending on whether you're powering it from the Snapdragon XR2 chip inside the headset, or letting your gaming PC power the display and the graphics and everything. Visual quality does change a little bit. When powering off the XR2 chip, the graphics are not as good as powering it off a PC, because the PC has a lot more power to be able to do the graphics than what this XR2 chip does. Even though the XR2 chip is very good, it's still just not as good as a good big graphics card in a PC. But where the Quest 2 really starts to become really good in the visual department is, in my opinion, the screen door effect. The screen door effect in the Oculus Quest 2, in my opinion, is nearly non-existent. You don't really notice those individual pixels. If you don't know what screen door effect is, find a monitor just like this and then go really close to it. And then when you go really close to it, you'll see that screen door effect and see the individual pixels. That's what screen door effect is. So this doesn't seem to have that screen door effect as much. The screen door effect on the Rift S is better than that of the earlier Oculus Rift CV1s, for instance. A lot of the earlier just VR headsets, and even the original Vive and all that. The screen door effect in this is actually much better. So it's not to say the screen door effect in this is bad, but it is definitely noticeable on the Rift S. Talking about the resolution of the two headsets, the Quest 2 has a better resolution than the Rift S, so you tend to get a little more detail under most scenarios. However, the thing that tends to wreck the detail with this, in my opinion, is if you are powering it from the PC, and because it has to go through a USB-C cable, not a DisplayPort like the Rift S, the PC actually has to compress the image so it can go through a USB-C, and then the Quest 2 then decompresses the image and you actually lose a little bit of detail. Now the Rift S is a standard 80 Hz LCD, and there's no changing that. You can't go to 90, it's just 80. Whereas the Quest 2 is a little bit different. I believe it's natively runs at about 72 Hz, but there is an option to run it at 90 Hz. And I guess most people probably do run it at 90 Hz. Not all games will run at 90 Hz, some of them will just run at 72. And when using USB to the PC, you actually get a choice between 72, 80, 90, and also the resolution forced to the headset as well. You don't necessarily want to go the highest. If your PC is of a lower spec, it'll struggle a bit. So that's when moving it down to 80 Hz and maybe slightly higher resolution might be better for you. I do want to add one thing to visual quality. Like I said at the start of the video, it can depend on your lenses that you get with your particular model. This one was one of the very early ones that were made, and I think got the original lenses, and I don't think they were great. I get a lot of God rays and things like that with my lenses. I don't think you'll get that on your lenses. So it's hard to try and review visual quality with my particular headset. I actually probably want to talk to Oculus about changing these lenses. I get a lot of God rays, and it's really annoying for my visual quality on this particular headset. But on the good side about these lenses, with the Oculus Quest 2, you can actually move them apart or closer together for better IPD adjustment. This is something you don't get on the Rift S. On the Rift S, you only get electronic IPD adjustment. So the lenses are fixed and you just change it in the software. Unfortunately, you can't change it in the software on the Oculus Quest 2 for finer adjustment, but hopefully that's coming in the future. So in terms of visual quality, for the most part, I'm going to give it to the Quest 2 here. The Quest 2 is better on visual quality, it's better on resolution, it's technically better on the refresh rate, it's better on the screen door effect. It's also better in field of view a little bit as well. You can see a little bit more to the sides. So yeah, Quest 2. In terms of sound, well, it's a bit of a tie actually. See, on the Rift S, you've got these little speakers here, and they kind of point down to your ears and put some sounds into your little ears. Unless you have big ears, then let's put sounds into your big ears. Whereas the Quest 2, you might see a little line there, a little dark line. That is the speakers on the Quest 2. Sound-wise, these two seem to be similar or the same. So no one wins on sound, it's just the same. However, I do probably recommend using the little headphone jack there and whacking on a good pair of headphones or earbuds or something. That way your sound will be a little bit better. If you're trying to put over-ear headphones on, then the Quest 2 is actually a little bit more comfortable to put over-ear headphones on because the strap goes straight. So it's easier to get the over-ear headphones on sitting there than it is with your ears sitting here and getting over-ear headphones sitting there. They kind of hit on the strap a little bit. Now let's talk about the tracking. The tracking of not only the headsets, but of the controllers. Now, unlike some of the HTC Vive Pros and the Valve Index and things like that, these headsets are completely tracked via the little cameras you see on the headset. Inside out tracking, not outside in tracking. Now the Quest 2 has 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Rift S has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including one. See, even above your head there. So with 5 cameras on the Rift S and 4 on the Quest 2, you would think that this would be significantly better. However, it isn't. It's actually about the same. I haven't noticed any considerable difference in tracking of both head and controller tracking with the Rift S or the Quest 2. They seem to track nearly identical. However, I would actually give the slight edge to the Quest 2 on this one. I think it has slightly better tracking algorithms inside the headset currently, whereas this one's not getting a lot of updates to the tracking. Oculus have obviously learned a little bit more since then and made these 4 cameras just track a little bit better, and I'm talking a smidge. So in terms of tracking, the Quest 2 wins. Now, speaking of tracking, we have to talk about the controllers, because the controllers have changed. The Rift S controller is the same as the Quest original controller, and they've changed that with the Quest 2. Not only has it changed color, it's actually changed ergonomic form. Can you see that? This actually slightly tilts to the side a little bit. like a banana. And the touchpads are a little bit different, slightly different ergonomic style. The Rift S controller has a little magnetic thingy there, battery cover thing, which I like. I think it feels premium, it feels good. I like that a lot. Whereas the Quest feels a little bit janky and cheap with its just normal plastic style cover. However, the reason they changed that is because some people were complaining on this one that would fly open while playing. Sometimes even batteries would pop out and things like that. So they've obviously changed that for a reason, but it does feel more premium on the Rift S controller. But if I had to choose which controllers to play with and have on my device, even if they were backwards compatible, which they're not, I would still choose these. I do feel that these are a better controller and also better battery life as well. I find the battery life on the Quest 2 controller to be probably 3 times better than that of the Rift S. That's just in my testing. I don't know what it is. It's just better. So in terms of controllers, Quest 2. Now let's talk about usability. What is more usable? Well, I'm going to keep this one pretty short. The Quest 2 is going to be the winner here. And the reason for that is, well, this you can use wirelessly. Not only can you let it use the XR2 chip on the inside of this device to power games, you can also run virtual desktop on your PC and use virtual desktop with the Wi-Fi 6 on this. Use your graphical power of the PC, send it to your router, and then the router sends it to the Wi-Fi 6 in this headset. And you don't need any tethers, any wires. You do get a bit of latency. If you don't want the latency, you need the Oculus Link, but you do get the tether. You can take this into an airplane if you wanted to, you know, and just put it on and watch Netflix on the plane in virtual reality, and nobody can see what you're watching. You can watch whatever you like to watch on a plane, or in your bedroom, or, you know, anything, because no one can see what you're watching. But if you take a tablet onto an airplane, well, people can see. People, you know, people beside you watch. You say, just go away. This is my show. Stop watching my show. You won't get that with this. It's not like your passenger next door can just go, ooh, what's he watching? Right? So yeah, think about that next time you want to watch something on a plane. You can take this to a friend's house, easy peasy. They don't even need a computer. Just whack it on. Boop, boop, boop. Hello. Playing Population 1, playing the Beat Sabers, all just as easy as pressing that little power button. So usability wise, hands down, baby, hands down. So we've gone through all the main things of these VR headsets, and the Quest 2 has really seemed to come out the winner here. So why is it that I still have a Rift S and I haven't sold it? Well, there is the segment that it did win in, and that is comfort. I do feel the most comfortable in this headset, and sometimes I literally just want to be comfortable in VR. I don't care that it has more screen door effect. I don't care that I'm tethered. Sometimes I just want to relax and be comfortable in VR. I know this works fine on my PCs. I know other people have had issues with getting it to work on their PCs, as I did initially, but I managed to figure out those issues, and now it's fine for me. Yes, a little bit less field of view, but VR devices aren't necessarily the most comfortable devices to put on your head, and comfort really means a lot to me. And one of the other things that this headset is better at that the Quest 2 just can't replicate for me is the response time between the PC and actually showing up in my vision is quicker than what the Quest 2 can do. And that's because you're either doing it through Wi-Fi 6, which has to go from your PC to your router to your headset, and there is latency there. Or if you're doing it through the link cable, there is still latency there, more than what you'll get with this. And if you're playing Half-Life Alyx or Population 1 or whatever, that latency isn't going to be an issue for you. Literally, I have 2 PC setups, I have 2 gaming setups. In this room here is my normal gaming room, and this is actually where I keep my Oculus Quest 2. For playing all those sorts of games, I think this is better. And for this room, I mean, the Quest 2 hands down. If I wanted to, I can go wireless by either the XR2 chip or via Wi-Fi 6. This is the better headset. And if you're in that scenario where those are the kind of games you play, then I reckon this is going to be the best for you. This is also probably going to be easier for you to set up on your PCs without as many issues as what you may have with the Rift S. And I say may because I can plug this into all my computers and it works fine. However, in my other room with my sim rig and all that, doing sim racing, when you're going 200 kilometers an hour down a straight or whatever, and you've got to pick your braking points correctly and hit that braking point at that 150 meter board or whatever, you've got to turn in right in that split second, in that millisecond that you need to turn in. This is better. I literally find myself driving better with the Rift S than what I can do on the Quest. So if you play games where latency is something that's very important, like racing games, then I would say going something like a Rift S is actually better. Having something cabled with a DisplayPort and a USB where there's no compression makes it faster reaction times in your headset, because there's no XR2 chip in here. It's completely by the PC, and powerful PCs, much higher data rate through this cable compared to the USB-C. So I actually prefer this in the other room. I actually don't like using this for virtual reality in racing games and things like that. I don't like it. I think if that's the kind of games you play, you're better off going elsewhere. So yeah, that's my take on the Rift S versus the Quest 2. Do you agree? Do you not agree? You can comment down below. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me because it's happened before. Everyone has their own opinions and what they prioritize over and all that. So, you know, you can comment down below for other people watching this. Maybe it'll help them. But yeah, that's my take. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that like button if you liked it. Subscribe for more videos, and I will see you in the next video.